What's up, everyone? Hope everybody out there is off to a great day. Here it is Tuesday. We're on day 7 of this NASCAR Trial. Man, I hope y'all are staying warm out there because I'm going to tell you it is cold around the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Feel for all them people hanging out at the courthouse, especially the ones that got to hang out outside. Not me. But as we've covered here in the past, we've went over how NASCAR has been worried about a breakaway series, the SRX series being a threat, had Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan on the stand, different things that took place. And yesterday, they brought up economist Edward Snyder, who got on the stand to provide a lot of analytics, a lot of revenue-based testimony to side with the teams through everything right here. So this is not really racing-oriented, but this episode's about the numbers. So I find it pretty interesting with everything. And a little bit about Mr. Snyder here. He is a professor of economics who has worked in the Antitrust division of the Department of Justice. And he has went on through his career to testify in over 30 court cases as an expert witness. And interestingly, one of those court cases was Deflategate. Now, this was the time in 2015 where the New England Patriots were accused of deflating the balls for Tom Brady. And this was an AFC championship game against the Indianapolis Colts. And in the end of this right here, it's considered a scandal. It cost $1 million in fines to the New England Patriots, 2 draft picks, and had Tom Brady sit for the first 4 games. So obviously, Mr. Snyder has been put on some things with this right here, and very much an expert witness. Now, in the NASCAR case, Snyder's testified that NASCAR, in his opinion, is in fact violating the antitrust laws. He's pointing out that NASCAR, it controls all the teams. It controls all the racetracks. It controls all the cars, things that we've discussed already in past episodes with the new next-gen car, the agreements that the tracks have and everything. And he's going on to say that NASCAR is a privately owned entity, and it controls all the bargaining power that is available to everybody right here. And especially it stops these teams from going anywhere else because they have nowhere else to sell their services. And examples that he's using of this right here is that NASCAR entered into these long-term agreements with the tracks right here, in their opinion, to stop any rival series from ever racing at these racetracks right here. And the interesting part is this was something that only started following the charter system. Prior to this, they had all the racetracks sign 1-year agreements. But once the charter system come out, these long-term agreements come into place, and then the wording changed to all this exclusivity with this right here that stopped anybody else from racing there. Now, by Snyder's calculations, he's determined that NASCAR has shorted the 36 chartered teams. This is all the teams, not just 2311 and Front Row, but that they have shorted all the teams over $1 billion between 2021 and 2024. So some pretty impressive numbers right there, what he's saying that these teams deserved. And he further went on to testify that both of the teams that are suing right now, 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, he did his calculations using 2 charters. Even though they have 3, he did his calculations using 2 charters right here. And in the end, he says both these teams are owed hundreds of millions of dollars. And he found that 2311 is owed $215.8 million, while Front Row Motorsports is owed $148.9 million. And here's the interesting part about this, because it's the questions, how do you come up with your numbers? How did you come up with all this? Well, what he did is he used this formula where he applied the profits, a reduction in market revenue, and lost revenue. And then what he did is he used the revenue basis from F1, where they do a 45% of overall revenue sharing with the race teams, to come up with his calculations. And in his calculations here, he's saying that from 2016 up through with the charter system, that NASCAR has only been paying these teams 25% as compared to 45% with F1. So saying not a good deal for these guys that was going on. And he also went on to pretty much proclaim that these teams right here were forced into signing these deals right here, and that they had to accept revenue models that were well below the market value, and that these values and everything else damaged the overall evaluations of the race teams. And he also went on to cite the NASCAR out of a threat of a breakaway series. Again, stuff we've been talking about, had the tracks enter into these long-term agreements right here that would eliminate any possibility of other stock cars racing on these racetracks right here. which also put a harness basically on all the race teams. And he's estimated that NASCAR had $2.2 billion in assets and an equity value of $5 billion. He also went on to note that they have an investment grade credit rating, which he contributes to allowing the France family to adjust any way that they need to right here to basically stop any threats of any other series ever forming, or precisely the NASCAR team owners starting their own series right here. Now, he also went on to state that NASCAR had $250 million in annual earnings from 2001 to 2024, and that the France family received $400 million in distributions during this time. So between 2021 and 2024, France family was taking in $400 million. Now, this is where NASCAR gets up there, because NASCAR is not, they're not agreeing with this. They're not siding with this, and their attorneys got up there in cross-examination and said basically that Mr. Snyder's estimates right here, his calculations, are false. And they stated that the 45% F1 revenue model was incorrect. Now, also, they're going to be bringing in two of their own experts into this right here, who, in their own terminology, they say that they take serious issue to Mr. Snyder's evaluations here. And they went on to ask Mr. Snyder about these two witnesses that they're going to be bringing in. And he went on to say that they are truly two of the best in the world. So this is going to be interesting to see the conflicts of what the team's expert has compared to the NASCAR's experts. Well, they're bringing in two of them in this case. And, but man, the testimony of Snyder took up most of the day yesterday, continued into today. And all this right here, it's kind of pissing Judge Bell off more and more. We've talked about this. He is not happy with the pace of the trial. He wants it over this week. And he's becoming annoyed with everything that's taking place. And actually, yesterday, they started out the proceedings of the day 30 minutes early. And this was because they had some objections that come in overnight. These things actually came in at 2:55 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. So out there burning those midnight hours to come up with some objections. I mean, it just shows how much people are working on this case right here. But those objections both took an hour to resolve yesterday morning. So that started court 30 minutes later than when it was scheduled to. Things that are not making this man happy right here. And at the end of the day, Judge Bell went on to ask the jury, hey, do y'all mind staying an hour later every day to try to move this along a little bit further? Because he's afraid to run into a third full week of proceedings right here. And he also went on to tell the attorneys that, hey, look, if you're going to file motions, let's have these in by 10 p.m. daily. Let's not be doing this 6:30 in the morning at 2:55. Man, I can only imagine the time it takes to go through all this stuff right here and do all that. But the interesting part, he's also asking the NASCAR team's attorneys to have it wrapped up today, to be done with everything. And Kessler's already went on to say and said it again. He has plans. He's bringing on 3 more witnesses that he wants on the stand, and that is NASCAR's Jim France, NASCAR Steve Phelps, and old RC. He wants Richard Childress up there, and we all know for damn good reason why he wants Richard Childress up there. I think it's going to get pretty fiery with all that conversation right there to see what happens. So I think we're looking at probably 3 of the best witnesses that are going to get up there and some cool testimony out of that. And then following this up, NASCAR right now has 16 potential witnesses on their witness list that they have to go through. So, man, this is going to be a wild time right here to see when all this gets done and everything else. But the interesting part, Judge Bell said he wants the team's attorneys to be done and have NASCAR's first witness on the stand by the end of today. So he's asking a lot out of these guys. I'm pretty sure that the testimony of Jim France, Steve Phelps, and Richard Childress is probably going to be a little bit more consuming than just this afternoon. So going to be interesting to see. But again, man, with all this stuff, as always, I want to know your opinion on everything. I know this really wasn't a juicy one right here, but it's the numbers. It's part of this trial. And I'm going to tell you, I can't wait for this damn thing to be over so I can get back just covering racing, what I love to. I did not even want to touch this stuff, but I find it so damn interesting. And I just want to help anybody that doesn't want to read the stuff or anything else to understand what's going on and keep up with it. So I hope you, as always, you stick with me with this and enjoy everything. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about everything. Again, is anything changing your opinion or opening your eyes to stuff? Is any of this new information that you're learning about? Because I'm going to tell you, for me, a lot of it is. But anyways, man, hope everybody out there is having a great day. Again, stay warm. Cold as hell here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And, man, I'm over it, ready for summer, some racing. But have a great day. And, man, as always, we'll see you at Checkered Flag.